Let me now bring in Michael Oren, the former Israeli ambassador to the United States. So, Michael, just your reaction to this rift that we're seeing between Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Biden. How concerned should Netanyahu be about what appears to be Biden's growing frustration?
Well, I think not just Netanyahu is concerned. All the people of Israel is concerned. The United States is our ultimate ally. The United States, under the Biden administration, has cast 3 vetoes against attempts by the Security Council to impose a ceasefire. And a ceasefire, from Israel's perspective, means Hamas gets away with mass murder and Israel can't restore its internal security. Large swaths of Israel will simply remain uninhabitable, and Hamas will emerge from those tunnels, rearm, reorganize, and launch another deadly attack. So the ceasefire, the vetoing of ceasefire is crucial. The supply of ammunition is also crucial. So those two, ammo and veto, are lifelines for Israel. But having said that, seeing that the United States is getting increasingly frustrated and may try itself to demand a ceasefire or a red line, as the president intimated in his most recent interview, is a source of concern. I think that also Israelis are rather kind of confused, frankly, because these policies aren't Netanyahu's policies. The prime minister of Israel is not the commander-in-chief of the IDF. The government is. And this government is a national unity government. These policies are Israeli national policies. If Israel goes into Rafah, and I agree with Richard Engel that Israel will go into Rafah, it's a matter of not if, but when. But that won't be the decision of the Prime Minister Netanyahu. It'll be the decision of the Israeli government, which includes people from the center, even center left. And those policies will be supported by the vast majority of Israelis. Interesting enough, when we talk about the delays in the aid to the Palestinians is not very popular in the state of Israel because Israelis feel that Hamas will not let us know anything about the hostages, not their names, not whether they've received the medicines that have been sent to them, and that this is the only leverage that Israelis have over Hamas. The Israeli government has gone against public opinion in letting aid in, and the major issue is not the delays caused by Israel. Our officials tell us that the delays are caused by the UN and other agencies who won't take the aid in. So you can have that ship sail from Cyprus. It's going to get to Cyprus. It's going to get to Gaza. Maybe I don't know where it's going to dock, but who's going to take the aid in? Right now, the only forces taking aid into Gaza, as you heard from that convoy last week that had this tragic outcome, are Israeli forces. And even now, I think even the administration is saying that if they build here in the dock, American troops are not going to take the aid in. Israel's going to have to take the aid in.
Yeah. So let's talk, though, more specifically about this red line. You mentioned that it is a government decision. Are the government officials there, not just Netanyahu, the entire war cabinet, are they taking it seriously? And do they feel that the red line has any teeth? Are they worried at all that the support the United States has provided them could wane if they continue down this trajectory?
I think, of course, they take it very, very seriously, and it should be a source of concern. I'm going back to the president's interview yesterday, where he says, I'm not going to cut off aid to Israel. I'm going to continue to give Israel Iron Dome. Iron Dome is a defensive weapon. It's not an offensive weapon. Iron Dome doesn't have much good to use in eradicating and uprooting Hamas in Gaza. It's defending against rockets, and Israel has eliminated most of Hamas's rocket firing capacity. So maybe there was a bit of a hint there about how it could be a change in the policy of supplying munitions. But at the end of the day, Israel has no choice. Israel has no choice but to eradicate Hamas, because without eradicating Hamas, basically Israel could even literally cease to exist. We lose our reason for existing to protect our people and protect our land.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned about how these are decisions made by a government, but there does appear to be some cracks. I mean, we saw Benny Gantz. He drew some criticism from Prime Minister Netanyahu's allies for his visit to the U.S. earlier this month. Is there any sense that the wartime unity government is starting to crack or fall apart?
We certainly see some cracks. We have. And that's the unity government. I don't see major cracks in the Israeli population itself. We've been in battle now in very intensive combat for more than 5 months, 250 soldiers killed. You haven't seen any major anti-war movement in Israel, no major protests against the war. You see hostage family protests. and there are divisions even within that camp. And you're going to have, you're always going to have demonstrations against Netanyahu, and they are escalating now, but not against the war itself. I think there's very close to a national consensus that we have no choice but to finish the job of uprooting Hamas. Without that, life in Israel simply can't go on.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ambassador Michael Oren, thank you so much for your perspective, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.